What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Reidboyy on Twitch. Literally the #1 ranked console player in the entire world, the only console player in the top 250. And the new season 2.5 Reloaded update just hit. So as always, we've got you guys another #1 console settings video. So let's hop right on into that. I'm going to try and do something a little bit different. I'm going to try talking a little bit slower than this. I heard Mr. Beast say that he's speeding things up and trying to get everything done as fast as possible. And he's going to try and break things down and let things flow way more naturally. So I'm going to try and do the same thing. I'm going to try and actually explain some things to you guys and just talk through stuff about why I do things the way I do them and why settings should be good or why you shouldn't use settings the way I use them. Starting off, we are on the bumper jumper tactical button layout. I've been playing on this ever since the Jetpack Call of Duty games when I didn't have a fancy controller. Nowadays, I have my beautiful SCUF controller. Use code REID, code R-E-I-D. The link will be in the description if you want to get one of your own. It has beautiful paddles and fancy triggers. But if you don't want to get one of those, if you want to just use a default regular PS4, PS5, whatever Xbox controller that you have, bumper jumper tactical is the way. What you really want to do, the main thing you're focusing on here, you never want to take your thumb off the thumbstick. You want to always be able to aim while doing anything you can do, whether that means you have to claw, like I do occasionally, to loot or to switch guns or to plate up, or to jump. I do it with L1, or to drop, I do it with the right thumbstick. So I don't even need the paddles on the back of my controller, even though they can allow me to do the same thing without having to put extra pressure on my thumbstick. Yeah, main thing here, bumper jumper tactical, bumper jumper, or stick and move are good things, are good button layouts if you want to, again, never take your thumb off the right thumbstick. What else? Rocking button ping, nope. I ping up on the D-pad. I came from Xbox 360. Xbox 360 was my first Call of Duty, so it feels more natural for me to shoot with L2 and R2 than L1 and R1. If you came from, I think PS3 was the opposite. You shoot with the bumpers. You can swap that. Nothing wrong with that. Controller vibration. I'm going to be one of the only streamers and professional players in the world that's going to be playing with controller vibration on. I have just never ever played any game ever with no vibration. It just doesn't feel right to me. I can't shoot straight when I don't have vibration on, so I've got it cranked, turned 100% up. Anybody anywhere is going to tell you to turn it off. They're going to tell you controller vibration messes with you and to turn it off. Most people are going to do that, so I would recommend you do that. If you don't know what's going on, do that, get used to it. It's probably better for you. I've had to literally get a brand new, back on the PS4, I had to get a brand new controller. The only thing wrong with it was it stopped vibrating and I couldn't shoot straight because my vibration wasn't enabled. Most people are going to tell you to turn that off. I play with the full haptics on the triggers. The dead zones, this is an absolute W feature, by the way, if you want to try this to use it. I always say a tiny little minor amount of stick drift is never going to negatively affect you in a gunfight. Just think about how often your stick ever so slowly moving on its own is going to cause you to lose a gunfight. The answer is never. So having your controller be your dead zones be less sensitive to result in no drift is just not worth it. So I always stick with 3 in the dead zones, three on the minimum, 99 on the maximum. That's just always what I go with. Ideally, you want your controller to be as sensitive as possible, picking up those movements, picking up anything that you do. 0 is just a little too sensitive for me. I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels. So 3 is what I go with. And again, I always do it. If the controller starts jerking randomly on its own, that usually means it's time for a new controller. But again, you don't want to have to raise your dead zone. That's what, if you change your dead zone constantly, again, based on what your controller is doing or just because you're trying new settings and stuff, that's going to mess with your aim. That's going to mess with your muscle memory. And it's not ideal. I strongly don't recommend that. Pick a dead zone, stick with it. If there's a problem, you know, something going on with the drift, it's too much on your controller, it might be time to get a new controller rather than changing your settings. I've got the instant triggers on my controller, on my SCUF controller. Again, that's code REID on SCUF. I have the instant triggers, so they're a little mouse click the second that I click them. But if you do not have those, definitely turn your L2, R2 button dead zones down to 0 to make them as responsive as possible. Aiming, I play on a different horizontal and vertical sensitivity. Now, the reason why I did this was back when we went from Jetpack Call of Duty games and I was on a 7 sensitivity, straight 7 across the board, to Call of Duty World War II, you know, 10 years ago, whenever that was. We went from people flying up, down, left, right. You got to look all over the place. You got to constantly be cracked. I never have to look more than up to a 2nd story window or down 1 flight of stairs. You never have to look up and down very fast, so I turn my vertical sensitivity way lower. This helps me beam people off of head glitches, you know, controlling that vertical recoil very easily, and it helps me with snipers, being able to fine-tune the vertical adjustments on a sniper shot to hit easier headshots, get less hit markers. Now with Warzone, more people, you know, parachuting in. There's way taller buildings and stuff. I don't necessarily recommend this. At least a bigger gap like mine. If you guys ever watch me in my videos, look up and look back down. Takes like 4 seconds to look up and look back down. It takes forever. It's a struggle, but I'm so used. Again, I've been using this for a decade. These settings, I'm so used to this that my muscle memory is very, very fine tuned with it. I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to change it. I don't necessarily recommend that you copy this. Maybe you know 7.6 or 8.7 or something like that. But yeah, 5 is a little bit of a struggle. 5 is a little bit low. But yeah, again, the one thing I always tell people is the absolute bare minimum, the lowest sensitivity you want to be on is 5. 5 should be the lowest that you have to go. Anything lower, you are hurting yourself. You're moving too slow. It's just not worth it. And then I would say if you want to be as good as you can be, 10 is probably the maximum. If you want to maximize your skill level, 10 is probably as high as you can go. Obviously, you can turn faster, you can spin faster, you could turn on people with higher sensitivities, you know, playing on 20 cents. But the one thing I always try to reiterate to people and tell them is you know, once a game maximum, you get the opportunity to turn on somebody. You get the chance for somebody to shoot you in the side and you could potentially turn on them and kill them. And yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's fun being able to do that. But every single game, every single gunfight, it's important for you to hit every single bullet and every time you're shooting. You want your aim to be as good as possible, and playing on a higher than 10 cents, you know, playing on max sensitivity, you're being detrimental to yourself. You're hurting your aim. So it is just not worth it to play on too high of a sensitivity. Again, I would say 10 is the absolute max you should go on. 5 is the absolute minimum. I'm like right in the middle at 7, 8, anywhere in there is definitely the sweet spot for you to be at. The sensitivity multiplier. So I changed my third person sensitivity multiplier to 2. That way, when I'm parachuting in, I can turn quicker. It's, you know, mouse and keyboard players can instantly 180 when they're floating in. This is more so when you like float around the map than for any other usefulness. And then ground vehicles, I upped that so I could spin in a car a little bit faster. Nothing really crazy on that one. Vertical aim, all these are standards. Tac stance. There was a tac stance meta about, you know, a couple weeks ago. Tac stance sensitivity multiplier to 0.9. That's in the middle of where I go with my ADS sense and my, you know, normal one. I just like the way this felt. Again, this only affects what happens when you're aiming at somebody in tac stance, which isn't really too useful anymore. There's not a tac stance meta going on right now. Linear, I play on the linear response curve. I always tell people there's not one of these that is better or worse than the other. It's more about what you like and how you feel and how your brain wants to react when you move the thumbstick and how your guy aiming in game reacts to that. I recommend you try them all. You know, go in a custom game, go in the firing range, whatever. Try them all. Shoot around with them for a little bit and see which one feels the best to you. Linear feels the most natural to me. It feels right, so I use this. I like the way it feels. A lot of people are going to play on dynamic. I don't really know too many people that play on standard, but a lot of people are like preaching dynamic as being the best, and a lot more people are recently realizing linear is also a vibe. Again, I say try whichever one you like. That's the one you should go with. Don't change it or all over the place. Don't constantly change, you know, one every day. That's just going to mess with your muscle memory. Custom sensitivity presume. This is a very fire setting. I'm playing on 0.8s on all the low zooms and 0.9s on the high zooms. This is going to be when you aim down sights, depending on what kind of sight you're using, how your sensitivity reacts. I'm more fine-tuned when I'm aiming down sights with my lower zoom optics. I get a little bit more breathing room when I'm aiming down sights like a sniper scope. Aim assist is on. This is not Warzone 1 anymore. I do not care about trying to impress the mouse and keyboard players like I did in Warzone 1. I heard all these mouse and keyboard crybabies whine about aim assist and say it's overpowered, and me, not knowing any of them, wanted to try my very hardest to be, you know, really impressive and be like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need these cheats. Mouse and keyboard players, all these big streamers are saying aim assist is for cheaters. I don't need this. I'm gonna turn it off. Then come, you know, Warzone 2, I kind of learned who a lot of these mouse and keyboard players are, and I realized that they're a bunch of whiny ass little bitches, so I don't really care about what they have to say. Now I turn my aim assist all the way up, turn it all the way on, crank that, try and make them mouse and cry babies whine and cry even more than they already do. I'm playing on the default aim assist type. Some people preach Black Ops feels better than them. I don't really like the Black Ops games or the way that the aiming feels in those games. I like the default much more, so I'm on default. If you like Black Ops, again, try them both out, see which one you like, go with that one. Don't change them back and forth all the time. Auto tack sprint, now with slide canceling and movement being back in Warzone, auto tack sprint is definitely the vibes. It will take you a second to get used to. You will die because of it sometimes. It still happens to me after having used it for 3 years. It's going to happen. But in general, the things that you can do movement-wise with ATS is way better than being stuck on default and having to click to sprint. The auto attack is definitely worth it. Slide maintain sprint, I've got that turned off. I was told that can affect like your dead slides. That can make your movement feel a little glitchy. That can cause you to dolphin dive randomly when you don't want to. I still kind of do sometimes. Still kind of dolphin dive just randomly at times, but it's not too terrible. So I definitely recommend you turn that off. If you do not want to play with auto tactical sprint, single tap run is the vibes rather than having to tap forward to tactical sprint, or to double tap rather than having to double tap. You just click it once and you tactical sprint. There's never ever a situation when you want to sprint forward but you don't want to tactical sprint forward. You know, if you don't want to play auto tac, you can either bot walk forward or sprint, tactical sprint. You don't ever want to be doing the default Billy run. So single tap run is definitely a vibe, and it saves your thumbstick. You literally have to click it half as much, so that's fire. Ground and mantle, auto airborne mantle, all these mantles, turn those off. You do not ever want to be mantling in the middle of the gunfight. This is part of why I struggle to hop up on things sometimes, but it is way worth it to just deal with that rather than jumping on top of things and un-ADSing in the middle of a gunfight. You have some options on these. I've tried multiple of them. I play on slide only. I still dolphin dive. So that was just a pointless setting. Even though it feels better. It feels better playing on slide only. I still randomly dolphin dive, and it is just not worth it to me. Just not worth messing up, you know, half the time just to slide a little bit faster. I tried hybrid, and again, I still am dolphin diving when I don't want to be dolphin diving. I've tried focusing on making sure I don't dolphin dive, and my dude will still randomly dolphin dive around the place. Didn't like that either, so I just play on tap to slide now, even though it is, again, a little bit less responsive. If you can get used to slide only or hybrid, I definitely recommend it. Hybrid is definitely the vibes if you can, again, get used to that. There are times when you do want to dolphin dive off a ledge to get some extra distance. But yeah, I absolutely hate randomly dolphin diving. It just fucks up my movement for the next like 20 seconds because my head is still messed up because I did something that I didn't try to do. So tap to slide is what I play on. Turn your auto parachute off. You never want that on. You will break your ankles because of it sometimes. It's okay. Happens to the best of it. Happens to me sometimes too. But you literally get to the ground faster to be able to loot faster. So this is definitely a beneficial thing. You do not want to be caught in the parachute while somebody else is already on the ground shooting at you. You definitely want something on for your weapon mount. You want to be able to mount that literally makes your gun have less recoil. So you want it on. So you don't want to have it off. My main thing with one of these is if you just randomly ADS and you're near a wall, you'll mount sometimes, which will absolutely throw you off. So you don't want that on. And then sometimes situationally, I will be spamming the ADS button and I don't want to accidentally mount on a wall when doing that. So the only, you know, logical option is ADS and melee. I'm never going to hit that on accident. So this is what I use to mount up. And then this is something I've changed recently. This is something that's different from my past settings video. Weapon mount exit delay, I've got that set to off. So what that allows me to do as a controller player, mouse and keyboard, if you're anybody on that, this doesn't apply to you. As a controller player, turn this off, and then anytime you mount up, just hold your left thumbstick some direction, just hold it somewhere, and that's going to kick in that rotational aim assist that all the mousing crybabies whine about. And it's going to give you, again, some extra aim assist to help you shoot people even straighter, even more beamy than you're already going to be while mounted up. This is going to help out a lot. So shout out, I don't remember who it was, but shout out to whoever recommended this to me. I have tried that. It takes you a second to get used to. It's weird holding the left thumbstick in a direction and not moving that way. I liked back in Vanguard when you could strafe while mounted. That was fire. But yeah, I definitely recommend you turning that off. And then again, if you want to unmount, just don't ADS anymore. On ADS and you won't mount anymore. Let's see. Prioritize interact/reload behavior. This allows you to literally grab loot off the ground faster. Definitely you want that on. You for sure want that on. Armor plate behavior, apply all. So that way you can apply all your plates at once instead of doing one, unzipping it, putting a plate in, closing it, unzipping it, putting in another plate, closing it. Yeah, apply all literally armors you faster. You want that for sure. I know some people manual fire behavior. Some people clickbait YouTube videos and Twitter posts and TikToks saying that if you set this to hold, you can fire burst guns faster. Sure, whether or not that's like beneficial is a different story. I don't think it is. I think you can fire your burst guns just as fast if you time it right. But one thing is this will make you shoot your pistol, your spawn pistol, way slower. Like the limit to how fast you can shoot the pistol is so slow if you have this to hold. So I definitely want you to keep this on press. That way, again, the main thing here is your spawn pistol, the Core 45 or whatever that you drop in with, to be able to just shoot as fast as possible off the rip. You want this to be on press. Akimbo behavior, I've got this set to independent. I don't really use akimbos, so this isn't for me. I honestly have no idea what to do here. All right, that's it for the controller settings. Whew, a lot. Let me take a drink of my graphics settings. I got everything turned off. Everything off. I don't notice any difference in the on-demand texture streaming off and on. I'm on 1440, 120. Yeah, that doesn't feel or look any different with it on or off. Motion blurs, get those off. Film grain off. Depth of field off. I played with this on, off, 100 strength, 50 strength. Again, I don't notice any difference with this, so I just turned it off. No idea what it does. Eco mode, I got that turned off. That doesn't matter to me. 120 hertz. I am on 120 hertz now. Doesn't feel or look any different than 60 hertz does. 1080 60, 1080 120, 1440 120. I've played on them all. They all look, they all feel the exact same to me. Extremely overrated thing that people hyped up. My FOV is on 99. I say anywhere between 90 to 110 is your sweet spot. If you're playing on max 120, you are hindering yourself. I do not recommend that. I do not recommend you playing on the, it's same as your sensitivity. Don't just crank it up to the highest number just because you can. There's a reason why all the people who are the absolute best at shooting their gun straight, all the COD pros and stuff, that people that would actually slam other sweaties in 1v1s, there's a reason why they don't play on max FOV. Anywhere from like 100 to 95, I think, to 110-ish. I say 90 to 110. 90 is really low, but 95 to like 110 is where you want to be. I'm on 100, like right there in the middle, and I'm just so quirky and different that I drop it down to 99, so I'm still in the double digits. But yeah, again, somewhere between like 1 to 110 is where you want to be. Again, if you're playing on 120, turn it down. I guarantee you shoot straighter. Turn it down and let me know just how much straighter you feel like you shoot. ADS field of view, you want this on affected. Weapon field of view, you want this on wide. Again, this is going to make your gun literally smaller on your screen so you can see more. Third person field of view, 90, make it as high as possible. Again, when you're parachuting in and you're in third person, being able to see as much as possible is W. Vehicle field of view, wide, again, so you can see as much as you can while you're in a vehicle. Make sure your camera movements, set these down to least, so that way your screen isn't shaking while you shoot. This is the most W setting in the game right here, 100%, rather than going absolutely blind in real life and getting flashbanged every time somebody throws a flash at you. This turns your screen pitch black. So much better for your eyesight and your corneas and your retinas and eyeballs and stuff. Yeah, turn this on. It's gonna scare you the first couple times because you're gonna think your game crashes when your screen just goes pitch black, but this is an absolute W setting. I fucking love it. Brightness, that's more specific to your own monitor. I'm on 51. Safe area, same thing, kind of with your monitor. That's it for the graphics. On to the audio settings. So again, if you're on console, soundbar. This is the vibes right here. I have tried that corny Artist War audio that a lot of the nerds use that I fucking can't stand, because my setup, all my stuff is plugged into my PC and I hear audio through my PC into my PS5. So I was able to set that up. Absolutely hate the way it sounds. It sounds like dog shit. Not for me. This is just as good. Rocking the soundbar audio mix on a console. Okay, we're gonna go with the gameplay music volume. I have finally turned it down. It's just too loud. It overpowers the sound of footsteps in this game. Dialogue, that's the sound of the announcer in your ear. Turn that down to 60 a little bit. Effects, 100. The war tracks, gotta keep that at 100. Gotta keep the war tracks maximum volume to hear La Chona whenever I get an ATV, or whenever I get into a helicopter, listen to Sweet Home Alabama. So this is fire. See a lot of people turn this down and you're missing out. Let me just tell you, you're missing out on some comedy. One thing I did hear, this is something to try at your own risk here. I did hear recommended to me that you turn your master volume down to like 50 and then crank your headset way higher. I have no idea. I have yet to try this. But if that's something you want to try your own risk, go right ahead. Just turn, again, I think he said like anywhere from like 30 to 50. Turn your master game volume way down, and then turn your headset volume, if you have the option to do that. I can't with my mixing. Turn your headset volume way up. They said that helps with footsteps. I have no idea. Again, I haven't tried that, so try that out for yourself. Voice chat, you want this on to be able to hear like prox chat and stuff, and hilarious death comms, but you don't want it to be too loud. Some people have really bad mics, the PS5 built-in controller mics, or the Reidboyy mic, if you will. Again, you want prox chat on so you can hear what people are saying when they're nearby, even if their mic is absolutely terrible. Also, this is what the Reidboyy mic, this is what my mic sounds like every time I unmute it to talk shit to people in game chat. I purposely have my mic set to the absolute worst settings possible, both on the mic itself, in game, and in the PS5 settings, just to piss people off because I find it hilarious. We got subtitles turned off. Too many people whined and cried and complained when I had them on. I thought it was funny, but too many people were whining about it, so I turned them all off. War tracks as passengers, turn that on for some more fire music. Hit markers, my hit markers are on the classic sounds. And then interface, there's only a few more settings to go. We're almost done. We're almost done. You hang that with me for 20 minutes, boys and girls. We're almost done here. Color customization. All these are defaults. You can change these however you want. I play on color filter 2. The target to both. That way it's both in the menu and in game. And the intensity is at 80. That's what gives my game just a little bit of slight extra pop to make it look better. And then the normal default console POV. Minimap shape, I got it on square. Square, if you can see right here, you literally have more minimap. There's more information to be gained there. It literally makes your minimap bigger and shows you corners that you wouldn't see with a circle. So make sure this is on square. The horizontal compass. That's a very BR way to call out, rather than you calling out, yo, he's over there to our left, and then I've got to look at my minimap, see which way your left is, and then figure out where that is to me. If you just call out in a cardinal direction, if you learn to do that, that's way better. Plus, also, if you don't have a UAV up and people are shooting somewhere with unsuppressed guns, red dots will pop up on the compass. You could get used to that. That's something that was really beneficial in Warzone 2. Crosshairs. You want your crosshair on. You want to know where the center of your screen is. That's very important. I've got it set to static so it doesn't bob and weave all over the place while I'm moving. I definitely recommend you have the center dot, especially if you are working on your centering and trying to figure out, you know, where to put the center of your screen while you run around the map. Definitely have the center dot on. I've got it on the smallest one. Have the center dot on. And again, just focus on where that dot is at all times, and you want that to be in, you know, the proper spot. You don't want to be centering on a wall when there's a doorway that somebody might be coming through, stuff like that. So the center dot definitely helps with that. Hit markers, damage-based markers, you want those on for sure, for sure. The telemetry in the top left, that's how you can see, you know, your ping and your packet loss on console. That is a thing now. That is not a PC only thing. You can do that. I don't need the clock. I've got a clock right next to me. Connection meter just doubles up the packet loss. You don't need that either. And that right there is gonna do it for the #1 console players top tier super duper tips and tricks ultra meta settings video. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more tips and tricks and meta class setups and all that good crazy stuff that we got coming in the next couple days and weeks. Don't forget to drop a comment. Let me know if there's something that you use differently from me that you want me to that you recommend, that you want me to try. Yeah, I think that's about all we got there. Time for Reidboyy to go either drop out of the top 250 or break into the top 100. Who knows? Woo, rank play. Y'all have yourselves a blessed one. Don't forget to like the video.